The United States lost $16 trillion to its GDP the last 20 years because of racism.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so guys, in today's episode, we came across a very interesting video on TikTok and decided to bring it for you here. And in this video, it's basically of an African American sister who was talking about how palm-colored people in America are the biggest problem America has. Right. And this she attributes to a report she saw on Google, which stated that America lost $16 trillion. Imagine that amount of money, $16 trillion because of racism. And she goes on to explain why, because of racism and palm-colored America, the systems are failing and they're failing bad. Right. But what are we talking about, guys? Let's watch this video and then we come back and talk about it. And then you can also leave us a comment on the comment section on what you think about this episode. Do you agree with some of the points she has said? Let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
The United States lost $16 trillion to its GDP the last 20 years because of racism.
In jail, police allowing him to stay in his home because they say he's a threat to himself. Since this app is suppressing my content literally not even 5 minutes after I posted at this point, I'm just going to get out what I really want to say on here, and if my platform suffers because of it, it won't be any different than any other day of the week. So, fuck it. This video right here speaks to something that I've been wanting to say on the internet for a long damn time. And now I'm just going to say it because, frankly, I don't care no more.
Let's go.
White people are the problem with America. White people are the problem with America. White people just now realizing that this country functions off of forced, unpaid labor? No shit. But when it was everyone else working for y'all,
It wasn't
you didn't mind that people weren't getting paid for the labor that they did, right? It was okay. It was the state's right to enslave people and brutalize them and make them work against their will. But now that you can't afford your Starbucks every weekend like you used to get, now you want to cry bloody murder. Y'all are absolutely the most delusional demographic walking around on planet Earth. Y'all are really out here trying to figure out, and you always act so surprised when you see it. Oh my God, why are people acting like that? I don't understand. They're burning ballot boxes. They're attacking elderly people at the polls with machetes. Like, why would this be? Because y'all are like this. These are your children out here with machetes attacking elderly people voting. We aren't raising your kids anymore, and they're running amok.
Yep.
They're running amok.
Facts.
Y'all are out here acting like you don't understand what the fuck is happening because you live in this lily white bubble that affords you to be ignorant. It gives you the grace of not having to pay attention enough to care about what's happening to everyone else around you. Unchecked white rage is exactly why every single thing that is wrong with this country continues to be wrong with this country. No one stops y'all. They're scared to go in and get this man who they say themselves is a threat to himself and others, who used a weapon on someone working in their own yard and tried to take their lives because what? What? You think that man was black in that house and the guy in his yard was white, that situation would have went the way that it went? You think that police chief would be saying that they are not going to go in guns blazing and kick in the door and possibly get into some type of physical altercation? Do you honestly believe that? No, you don't. Because you know better. Just like January 6th went the way that it went. And it never would have worked with any other demographic. Not even Asians could have done what y'all did to the Capitol. And you know it.
Not even a little
No one's going to hurt you. No one's going to handle y'all the way you need to be handled, which is no better than the way you handled everybody else for centuries. Mind you, it was good enough for the goose, so the gander needs to take their turn. And y'all don't want it, and this country won't give it to you. And because they don't give it to you, everything goes to utter bedlam. And then you sit there on your phones crying into them with the audacity to wonder why things are the way that they are. Y'all voted for Trump, you got a damn rapist in the freaking Supreme Court, and then you're sitting here talking about, I guess I voted against my own best interest, oh my God, maybe next time I'll do better, and then you went right back into that polling booth and voted for him again. And now here we are. And y'all, because of your own internalized need to hate everything that's different from you, would prefer to be comfortable sitting with a white guy in the office again that has proven to you exactly how he will destroy this country. Thanos your economy in order to get things right again. Instead of seeing a black woman doing something that you didn't do first.
Damn. Glad you better speak.
When y'all come in my comments, when you jump on me on Instagram, attacking me, if this video even stays up without y'all reporting it, please understand that I meant every goddamn word I said. The reason America sucks, the reason that America is a terrible place to live is because of you. The reason everyone that's here is suffering because of a lack of universal health care, because you didn't want black people to get free health care, because you don't want kids to eat school lunch for free, because black and brown children would be eating school lunch for free in a country where you've stolen the land and now you fucked it up when you could have just left the indigenous people to take care of it like they've been doing for centuries. The reason why everything that is wrong with America is wrong with America is because of you.
Aye.
Just you. Just white.
I feel like throwing my
It's
shoe.
not to say that other races don't have terrible people in it, but none of us as a collective have done as much damage to one place than you have. And we didn't even ask to be here. You brought us against our will in the first place.
There you go.
And still looking at us to go back to Africa. Bitch, where's your receipt?
Like my beautiful sister said, the reason why we don't have universal health care is because black people can get it. The reason why we pay 20% for Medicaid is because black people, they don't want black people to just go and get Medicaid. So they put the 20% that you have to pay. The reason why we have to pay for college is because Ronald Reagan didn't want riffraff going into college, because college used to be free. So the reason why you have these student loans is because of racism. The United States lost $16 trillion to its GDP the last 20 years because of racism. 16 trillion with a T. You don't have to believe me. Go Google it. White people will deny themselves things that will benefit themselves. They will deny their children things that benefit them as long as they can continue to discriminate against 13% of the population. Imagine, because of 13% of the population, America lost 16 trillion with a T dollars. The reason why America is the way it is isn't because of black or brown people. It's not because of Asian people. It's not because of the LGBTQIA+. It's not because of the trans community. The reason why America is the way it is because of the racist, toxic, patriarchal, white supremacist man. And the white women who uphold these toxic men up for their proximity to an illusion of white superiority and power. That's it. That's all. Remember, diversity equal power. We can change the world when we work together and protect black women. Until next time. Glam was preaching today. As long as they can continue to discriminate against 13% of the population.
You know, I keep playing back that portion of Goddess Mia's video because it keeps, like, something about it stuck out to me. Like, it's obvious, right? But then there's this other part that just kept catching me and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I finally got it, right? It's not just the fact that racism in America has cost us $16 trillion over the last 20 years. It's not just the fact that just to be discriminatory, just to be able to be racist and treat 13% of the population badly, that a certain portion of America is willing to deny themselves freedoms, rights, liberties, and all of the positive things that they claim that they want. It's the fact that 52% of white women during that first election supported the Trump administration, voted for Donald J. Trump, right? And I'm never going to let y'all live that number down, mind you. It'll be very telling next week when these numbers drop for real. And we'll see what happens when the wheat gets separated from the chaff. Because a lot of y'all be on social media saying one thing, but y'all do something very different in that voting booth. But I digress. Y'all are very, very sneaky with how y'all do things, because on the one hand, these white men have superiority over you as well. That's why you lost your right to abortion. That's why you're out here now fighting for your lives while black women are literally dying behind your decision. Either way, y'all, here we are, right? And now we have to go through this again. White women use that 13% of the population, you know, us, as a shield between them and their angry white men. Because when those white men are not being racist towards us, what are they being? Misogynist, sexist, patriarchal asshats. See, that's the thing, right? White women get on the internet every day and complain about their husbands, white men, all the things, right? Because they know how awful they are. They know. But they also create them. They also are the mothers to these men. So there's got to be some type of connect between them being terrible and y'all being the source of where they come from. Right? Like, there's got to be some tie between y'all being the mothers and these men being awful human beings that are destroying the planet. And I kept trying to figure out, well, okay, because they're out here constantly saying that, you know, they're fighting back and they're doing these things, you know, putting the sticky notes in the bathroom stalls and all that. It's like, y'all need these white men to be angry at us so they don't take it out on you. Don't you? Just like the rich 1%, right? They need the poor white trash at the bottom to be mad at all the colored people, so that the poor white trash at the bottom don't realize that they're only poor because of the upper class up there that they can't get to, right? That's why they have a military and police, so that they can protect the 1% from everybody else down here, you know? And it's like, y'all do the same thing as white women. You do. Y'all will sacrifice every other person of color, every black, indigenous person, just so long as you don't have to put up with the men that you create. That's why y'all vote against your quote-unquote own best interest, because it's not really against your own best interest. You are thinking about yourselves first. You're letting these white men take out their frustration on people that look like me, so they don't take it out on people that look like you. That's why this race is so close. Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to sacrifice us. They're going to throw us under the bus. They're going to put us out there as a sacrificial lamb so that they can protect their own best interests. Y'all are not voting against your own best interests. You're voting to maintain the status quo, which is your white men being racist first, then misogynist, then patriarchal asshats, then everything else later. Because you know the 1-2 combo is too much for you to deal with. Because if these men don't have black people to be mad at, who else are they going to get mad at besides you? When they don't get that job, who are they going to take it out on? If it's not that black guy, or that undeserving black woman, or that brown kid from that country that he can't pronounce. If he can't blame us, he's going to blame you. And you know you don't want that. So you will sacrifice us all just to protect yourselves. Did I get it right? Did I crack the code? Did I figure it out?
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. So do you agree with the sisters that palm-colored Americans are the people who got America to the point where it is? Another thing I want to ask is, there's a point a sister said here, and she was talking about how if they work together, the palm-colored Americans and the melanated Americans, if you all work together,
in general in America,
if you all work together, you could do great things and eradicate a lot of nonsense that you guys get to experience because of racism, right? And she was talking about how the 1% uses racism as a tool to separate the people who are down there, because if they're busy fighting against each other, they won't be focused on the 1%, you know.
Right.
And I feel like this is similar to what we've said before in one of our episodes, because I said if people are not busy fighting each other against racism, rather you focus your attention to the right people, the right powers, right? Focus on the lawmakers in your own states, right? If, let's say for example, you want to demand for better school systems, better pays, you know, better health care.
Yeah, you'll stop blaming it on black people or any other race having come to settle there, and start blaming the right person who should be doing ABCD and they're not doing it.
Right.
And then she also mentioned something very, very interesting, right? She said that because of 13% of the population, with 13% being the African Americans, she said because of the 13% of the whole population of America, palm-colored people would rather run down a whole system for people to live bad other than let African Americans afford or benefit from a system that they don't want black Americans to benefit from.
Yeah. And then guys, can we talk about, you know, I never really looked at it in her perspective until I saw this video when this lady was saying palm-colored women would rather, right, voting systems that will allow their men to continue being the way they are in order to avoid the
aggression being turned towards them themselves. They'd rather their men be aggressive or unfair towards other groups of people before they can turn on them.
And that's cowardly.
And that is why they constantly do things on purpose to sabotage the black community.
Yeah, my thing is, you guys, if that, you know, colored women, you know, if they could band together and work with the right groups, because at the end of the day they still are in a minority group in terms of them being women. So it means that if something were to affect women in general, it's gonna affect them regardless of whether or not they're palm colored. You understand?
Yeah, that particular thing might start off looking as as much as it's harming black women and the black community, it won't harm them. Yes, it will look like that at the beginning, but eventually it catches on to also white women, and it affects white women the same way it affects black women.
Yeah, but who are we to start telling them to act right? Because that has been the system in America, and I don't think they'll change unless they want to see the change itself, you know?
Yeah, and right now that is the reason why they have lost $16 trillion because of racism and such things they practice.
Yeah, but my thing is, as the woman said, like, what if you all decided to work together and just decided you've had enough of the poor systems that have been put together? Because I feel like in a system where you find melanated people suffering, I know that you will find at least one person who's palm-colored who's suffering along with them. So for the sake of that, why can't palm-colored people as well come together? Because I do believe, if you look at it in the viewpoint of elites versus those who are not coming from 1%, exactly, those who are not coming from a privileged background, you guys are many, you understand? There was someone who was talking about the how racism was started and how that system was perfected by during the days when elites realized that black people and white people were working together,
and that could bring harm to the 1%, the elites.
So they decided to form a system where they could use trickery in such a way they would make poor white people feel like they were special enough and more important.
Yes, and that black people were taking all the opportunities away from the poor white people.
And through this, they managed to turn these people against each other. And so white people started believing that they were more special. The poor white people, they started believing they were more special than the black people.
And also they started believing that they were more deserving of whatever America was to offer than the black people. And that is why most of the time you won't find many palm-colored people understanding the plight of black people or what black people have been complaining about. It's easier for them to say, let them go and work hard.
Right.
Disregarding the fact that some black Americans actually do work hard, and it's the systems that the palm-colored people who have established that are holding them back.
So guys, having said that, let us know what you think about this in the comment section, right? But I feel like yeah, change does take a long time to come about, but it has to start with the person who's doing wrong for change to be implemented.
To actually come about.
Yeah, and if this is costing such a lot of money for the US, right? Then fix what needs to be fixed,
because they know what needs to be fixed. They're just sitting on what needs to be fixed,
and it's costing them money. And right now, it's gotten to a point where everybody is suffering for it.
So guys, let us know what you think about this episode, and also consider subscribing if you're new to this channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.